Two of them quickly stood up and began adjusting their outfit. Just as Zhao Yu was about to open the door, Yu Chu Shui came up for wiping off her lipstick with emotion on his lips. While they were cleaning up themselves, the room's door was violently pushed open. Lu Siyu walked in angrily, about to vent her anger on Zhao Yu as she noticed another woman in the room. Compared to Lu Siyu, Yu Chu Shui's appearance and clothing was even more striking than she did. "What are you two doing?" Lu Siyu asked Zhao Yu. When Zhao Yu was about to explain, Yu Chu Shui scoffed, walking around Lu Siyu, sizing her up and down. "Zhao Yu, this is Lu Siyu? Quite average-looking, isn't she? How dare you mock me?" Lu Siyu shouted at her. Upon hearing that, Yu Chu Shui instantly slapped Lu Siyu without second thought. "Pa!" A crisp sound echoed. Everyone was shocked. Lu Siyu stared in disbelief at Yu Chu Shui. Just as she was about to retaliate, two female bodyguards suddenly burst into the room. One shielded Yu Chu Shui, while the other took out a gun and aimed straight at Lu Siyu's forehead. The fear evident as she stared at the barrel of the gun. "Hold your fire." Zhao Yu instinctively pulled out his own gun from his waistband, pointing it at the bodyguard. Clink clank. In the next moment, the two bodyguards, with their 4 guns, all aimed at Zhao Yu. Outside the room, Hua Dahai, alerted by the commotion, quickly drew his gun and aimed at the room. Lu Siyu finally realized she had caused serious trouble. She no longer in the school. This was the real world. Moreover, what she hadn't expected was that the woman she had insulted was no ordinary person like her. Was that a gun Zhao Yu holding? Zhao Yu. At this moment, her previous arrogance was hard to be seen. Like a timid kitten, she slowly moved behind Zhao Yu for protection. Yu Chu Shui wanted to order her subordinates to fire, but she was afraid they might kill Zhao Yu, so she could only watch Lu Siyu got off. She held a grudge against Lu Siyu. She had inquired about Lu Siyu after falling in love with Zhao Yu. When she saw the video of Lu Siyu blaming Zhao Yu of the money, she was just as outraged as everyone else. If it weren't for Zhao Yu's clear instructions and private threats not to trouble Lu Siyu, she would have wanted to kill this woman long ago. "It's a misunderstanding, Dash." Zhao Yu voluntarily put down his gun, starting to explain, "Miss Yu Chu Shui, I apologize for my action, and it must be a misunderstood between us. Lu Siyu is my girlfriend." She rushed in suddenly, saw both of us here discussing matters, and mistakenly thought we were up to something unsavory. "Humph!" Yu Chu Shui snorted coldly. "Do you really think I would need to resort to such measures for a man? A mere village girl dares to insult me. In all my years, no one has ever dared to speak to me like that." Saying this, she turned to her 2 bodyguards and commanded, "What are you waiting for? Shoot them. Kill this treacherous couple."
Yu Chu Shui.
Lu Siyu was startled, fully realizing the magnitude of the trouble she had stirred up. Yu Chu Shui was the legitimate daughter of a prestigious family. If someone of her stature wanted her dead, it would be a simple task. Moreover, her family might also get implicated. It was over now. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she was terrified to the point of wanting to kneel and beg for mercy on the spot. However, the 2 female bodyguards glanced at the door and hesitated to take any action. At this moment, there were many guns pointed from outside the door, not just from Hua Dahai and his people, but also guards from the Huang family. "It's a misunderstanding. Cease your fire." At this juncture, the captain of the Huang family guards took the initiative to negotiate. He first instructed his people to lower their guns, then explained his identity, and finally clarified the relationship between the Huang and Yu families. His words seemed to relieve the 2 female bodyguards. Zhao Yu knew he couldn't remain silent. He quickly commanded, "Hua Dahai, if these 2 women dare to shoot, kill them on the spot." Clink clank. Instantly, there was another round of guns being cocked. Did Zhao Yu have his own backup? Being close aides to Yu Sage Shui, they were somewhat familiar with school affairs. Not only them, even Lu Siyu was immensely shocked. Her image of Zhao Yu transformed like it was the first day they have met. Not only did Zhao Yu have a gun, but he also had a group of armed men at his command. She suddenly realized that she never even knew about his real personality. Zhao Yu had always been entirely accommodating and compliant, because Zhao Yu had always been obedient to her in front of her. "Miss, given your esteemed status, Exchanging lives with people like us doesn't seem worth it, does it? Zhao Yu looked at Yu Chu Shui, and as he spoke, his brows slightly furrowed, sending her a subtle signal. Yu Chu Shui instantly understood that Zhao Yu was angry. She quickly ordered her subordinates to put away their guns and scoffed, "Humph! As the young lady of the Yu family, I shouldn't waste my life on such a lowly creature." Lu Siyu was thankful that Yu Chu Shui didn't take things too seriously. Witness Lu Siyu cowardly hiding herself, Yu Chu Shui became even more irritated. Did she really lose to such a woman? In recent days, Zhao Yu always defended Lu Siyu, and even warned Yu Chu Shui not to harm her. This made Yu Chu Shui curious to know about this woman that had Zhao Yu so captivated. With a few interactions with her, Yu Chu Shui only felt disappointment. She's just a useless woman that fully relied on her beauty. Whether in terms of character, mindset, or ability, she was worse to any average woman in the real world. Do all men prefer such useless ornaments? Yu Chu Shui cast a resentful glance at Zhao Yu and then said, "Zhao Yu, I hope you'll uphold our earlier discussion. If not, I'll hold you accountable for what she just insulted me with." Which matter are we discussing about? Apart from the kiss, it seemed they hadn't discussed much else. Given the situation, he could only play along with Yu Chu Shui. Of course. If there's one thing I have, it's integrity. Good. Remember what you said? Yu Chu Shui looked happily at Zhao Yu, as if implying that he would soon find out what she had asked of him before she left the room. The captain of the Huang family's guards heaved a sigh of relief and immediately dispatched people to escort Yu Chu Shui away. Hua Dahai came in to whisper at Zhao Yu, "Boss, should we get rid of them? I can send Changji to intercept." Lu Siyu was terrified beyond belief that Zhao Yu was no longer the student she once knew, but more like the leader of underground. Yu Chu Shui belongs to his side now, although it couldn't be revealed. She not only given him her first kiss, but fully exposed her body to him. Zhao Yu coughed lightly and said, "No need. I can handle Yu Chu Shui. We're not at the point of taking lives yet." Uodai nodded. "The matter with Xiao Shi has been settled. When do we start?" "Let's do it tonight." Zhao Yu rubbed his chin. "All right." After saying this, Hua Dahai left without further disturbing them. As he exited, he purposefully ordered all the men to leave as Zhao Yu and Lu Siyu might need some space. It wasn't until the room was entirely devoid of others that Lu Siyu began to calm down. Zhao Yu quickly hugged around her shoulders and gently patting her back in a comforting manner. Lu Siyu's initially anxious heart gradually relaxed. With the previous event, she was entirely alone now. She even started to fear that he might no longer treat her the same way. Her initial goal to confront Zhao Yu for his disappearance for the past 3 days dissipated amidst these unexpected events. "Siyu, did you come to see me for a specific reason?" With a voice soft and somewhat coquettish, she said, "Isn't it because you've been ignoring me? I was worried something happened to you." Zhao Yu was surprised by her changes. He never imagined that one day, Lu Siyu would be so gentle towards him. In the past, she treated him with superiority, summoning him at will and dismissing him just as easily. Zhao Yu seemed to understand through her slightly trembling body. Was it the intimidation from Yu Chu Shui that made Lu Siyu to rely on him? Zhao Yu felt a surge of joy. So, there's a way to train Lu Siyu like this? Lately, what troubled him most was Lu Siyu. It felt as if she was going against the last wishes of the previous owner, treating him with no courtesy at all. With Yu Chu Shui's threat her, it seemed like things was not too bad. Zhao Yu gently stroked her head. "How could anything happen to me? Haven't I been busy at the factory these past few days?" She showed a shy expression, burying her head in Zhao Yu's chest. After a while, she hesitated. "Zhao Yu, can this factory really make money?" "Of course. If it couldn't, how could I afford to hire so many people?" Zhao Yu chuckled. Indeed, there were many people, and a significant number of them were armed. Especially that man who came in later, with his fierce and bandit-like demeanor. The idea of going after Yu Chu Shui, he didn't seem like an ordinary mercenary. "Zhao Yu, what kind of business are you into?" Lu Siyu asked. "Of course, it's a business that makes money." Zhao Yu playfully slapped her buttocks. Lu Siyu playfully exclaimed, "You're so naughty." This reaction invigorated Zhao Yu, feeling that he could take this opportunity to proceed further with Lu Siyu. ensuring that in the future, he wouldn't just have her presence, but also her heart. Don't. Lucy, you didn't expect that Zhao Yu would be so audacious to make a move on her. She verbally expressed her refusal, but her body betrayed her true feelings. In no time, Lu Siyu found herself squirming, legs intertwined. Zhao Yu immediately shifted his focus, redirecting his advances from her upper body towards the more intimate area. However, just as he was about to proceed, Lu Siyu stopped him. Zhao Yu, can we wait until we're married? Zhao Yu's enthusiasm waned significantly. The urge to pursue further disappeared. He slowly let go of Lu Siyu. All right, we'll wait. This place isn't appropriate. I'll have someone escort you home. I came by car, Lu Siyu said with some trepidation. A car? Zhao Yu paused, recalling the scene when he first arrived and saw Lu Siyu with Huang Zilong. A male classmate? Yes, but it wasn't just me. Zhou Miao was with me, Lu Siyu, concerned Zhao Yu might misunderstand, hastily explained. Public transport are not only expensive, but they're also unsafe. One was afraid of potential dangers, so I asked a classmate for help. No big deal. I'll arrange a car to escort you both home when you leave. Zhao Yu signaled Hua Dahai to accompany Lu Siyu outside. Outside the factory, a used sedan was parked by the roadside. The male driver was chatting nonstop with the female passenger in the back seat. The girl in the back, looking a bit uneasy and keeping her head down, occasionally murmured in response. She was Lu Siyu's roommate, Zhou Miao. Initially, she didn't want to come, but Lu Siyu begged her and willingly to pay her maid Zhou Miao reluctantly agree. After all, getting paid more for a simple car ride than what she'd earned from a part-time job seemed like a good deal. Zhou Miao also had a slight eagerness about experiencing a car ride, which made her agree. The car was indeed nice, fulfilling one of her dreams. The only drawback was the chatty male driver. Zhou Miao, you're just too introverted. You actually look pretty good, he commented. Zhou Miao lowered her head further, not daring to respond. The male student grinned, to be honest. When Lu Siyu asked for my help, I didn't want to bother. But when she mentioned you'd be coming, one agreed. If it weren't for you, why would I go through the trouble and even waste my gas? His words made Zhou Miao uneasy. Gasoline wasn't cheap. Did he expect her to compensate for it? With her earnings from this part-time job, would it even be enough to cover the cost? About the gas money, I'll give it to you later. She thought of the part-time payment she hadn't yet received from the school's cafeteria. Once she got back, she should have enough money. Come on, it's just gas money. It's not a big deal, he paused, then laughed and added a condition. How about this? Treat me to a meal instead. Nothing fancy, just Gao Lao Zhuang.
Gao Lao Yuan.
Dining there wasn't cheap. It might cost even more than the gas money. She hastily waved her hands, almost in tears. Forget it. I'll just give you the gas money. She thought to herself that she shouldn't have been tempted by the car ride. Not only did she not make money, but now she had to pay. The male student laughed and didn't dwell on the topic. He pointed to the factory in front of them and said, "This rundown place doesn't look all that impressive. I heard Zhao Yu spent 3 million on it." 3 million? She couldn't help but admire Zhao Yu. She was just like him. Yet Zhao Yu managed to build such a vast empire. There were rumors about his wager with Huang Zilong. She hoped Zhao Yu would win. Though Zhou Miao wasn't close to Zhao Yu, she had met Huang Zilong and didn't find him trustworthy. Compared to Zhao Yu, who had once treated them to dinner, she naturally hoped for his victory. If one had 3 million, I definitely wouldn't waste it on this old factory. Boosted by Zhou Miao's apparent, he bragged. I have a friend who leased a school cafeteria. He earns 200,000 a month. That's 3 million a year. Isn't that better than running this factory? Lease a cafeteria? Zhou Miao's eyes lit up with envy. If she could lease the entire cafeteria and all its part-time jobs, wouldn't she become wealthy? After all, the money Zhao Yu has was bet on his life. Sooner or later, he'll have to pay for it with his life. My friend, on the other hand, earned his money fair and square. He can spend it however he wishes. Zhao Yu is quite capable too, Zhou Miao said, a rare retort from her. However, the male student seemed as if he had been stung by a bee upon hearing this. He's capable? Nonsense. How can someone like him be considered capable if he's willing to gamble with his own life? Zhou Miao looked up and said, but Zhao Yu has 10 million. Don't talk to me about that 10 million. If I give you 10 million but told you that you could only live for one more month, would you take it? You and I could do what he's doing too, but we just choose not to. Lu Siyu approached as they were talking, accompanied by 7 or 8 people. Is this the car? Hua Dahai pointed at the car and asked. Yes. Lu Siyu slightly lifted her chin, displaying a haughty demeanor. These people were Zhao Yu's subordinates. She's the woman Zhao Yu adores, the future lady boss, so she felt it was only right to act the part. Without much thought, Hua Dahai opened the car door for her. Once Lu Siyu had settled in, he closed it. The two inside the car became nervous and went silent, especially the male student in the driver's seat, who noticed the gun tucked into Hua Dahai's waistband, feeling a wave of unease. Hua Dahai started walking towards him, which startled the male student. He quickly fastened his seatbelt. Is there something wrong? The male student asked nervously. Hua Dahai didn't try to intimidate him and directly pulled out a wad of cash. Thank you for bringing them here. This is your hard-earned money? The male student's eyes widened in surprise. That wad of cash seemed to be at least 1,000 or 2. Just as he was about to take it, Lu Siyu suddenly leaned over and snatched the money away. I've already paid him. Hua Dahai was not expecting Lu Siyu to grab the money so casually without a manner. The male student showed a bitter expression but managed a forced smile, saying, Big brother, Lu Siyu really did pay me already. I can't accept your money. Hua Dahai, not particularly concerned about Lu Siyu's actions, simply said, All right then, start the car. I've arranged for someone to escort you. At the same time, 3 modified cars formed a triangular perimeter around them. The male student glanced over, quite startled. On the 3 cars, several men held rifles, looking rather menacing. Zhou Miao hadn't realized how powerful Zhao Yu had become, having so many gunmen under him. Only Lu Siyu seemed proud, as if all these people were hers. After basking in her self-satisfaction for a moment, she urged, All right, let's get going. One have a class to attend. All of them headed towards the school. Zhao Yu stood by his office window, watching Lu Siyu leave, a hint of concern on his brow. He hadn't expected that even after all this, Lu Siyu still hadn't fallen for him. The original host's last wish seemed stuck at this point. At that moment, Hua Dahai walked in, leaning close to Zhao Yu, whispering, Boss, if we initiate the plan, what if someone kidnaps Lu Siyu? As long as I don't show myself, she'll be fine, Zhao Yu said calmly. Tell them to speed up the process. I want to see the prototype by this afternoon. Time swiftly passed, and soon it was the afternoon. When the assembly line workers powered up the production line and saw the emerging semi-finished product, they were all stunned. Is this a gun? As the workers were left in confusion, Zhao Yu had already disappeared, using the pretext of inspecting another factory. Those accompanying him, including Hua Dahai and his men, were also gone. Captain, we've lost him. What? Captain Huang was shocked. He confirmed that Zhao Yu had intentionally shaken them off. Just as he was about to report back to the Huang family, another person ran up to him. Captain, there's a big problem. What could be more important than losing Zhao Yu? The captain was somewhat irritated and continued to dial the phone. As the call was just connecting, the subordinate said, Captain, the prototype produced by Zhao Yu's factory appeared to be guns. What? At the same time, the voice of the Huang family patriarch echoed from the phone. Guns? Zhao Yu's factory is producing guns? Captain Huang quickly responded, explaining that he had just received this report and had not yet confirmed it himself. Go confirm it quickly and don't hang up the phone, the Mr. Huang urged on the line. Setting aside the issue of Zhao Yu's disappearance, Captain Huang hastily followed his subordinate to the production line. When he saw the prototype, which was unmistakably the body of a handgun, he was utterly shocked. Master, it really seems to be a gun. His words had barely left his mouth when he heard the heavy breathing from the other end of the line. A moment later, the voice of Mr. Huang came through. Quickly, seal off the entire factory and confiscate everyone's communication devices. I'm on my way. Half an hour later, more than 10 fully armed vehicles drove into the factory. Master Huang walked in, surrounded and protected by a group of people. The head of the guard quickly took him to see the production line. Indeed, they're guns. Master Huang was thrilled. Zhao Yu, this young man, can actually manufacture guns? In this world, the empire had forcibly united over 100 countries, leading to a situation where every local area governed itself. Aside from nominally being under the rule of a lord, the real law of the land was the law of the jungle. Fierce competition and conflicts arose over even minor interests. If they had a production line for firearms, it would be like adding wings to them, greatly enhancing their ability to expand their influence. Master Huang furrowed his brows. He pondered whether his Huang family could actually manage all of this. After deep consideration, he shook his head and sighed. It's not possible. The foundation of my Huang family isn't strong enough. In the end, Bing City is Su family's territory. He thought carefully. Even if his Huang family had a production line like this, it would be difficult to surpass the Su family. Master Huang felt a sense of regret. The Su family's control over Bing City was just too strong. Their strength was dozens, even hundreds of times greater than theirs. Even with guns, it would be hard to fight against the Su family. A moment later, Master Huang adjusted his mindset and made a phone call. Butler Su, this is Mr. Huang. I have something important to report. In a short while, Master Huang informed the Su family of his discovery of the firearms production line. Another half an hour passed, and dozens of vehicles filled with armed personnel drove into the factory. In the escort convoy, in addition to several armored vehicles, there were even 2 helicopters. The moment the head of Su family saw the firearms production line, he burst into laughter and patted Master Huang on the shoulder, praising him for a job well done. It's an honor for my Huang family to serve the Su family. Master Huang carefully accompanied him, more humble in his demeanor. The sound of the helicopter outside had indeed shocked him. Families like theirs, who seemed powerful, simply couldn't compare to the Su family. After all, the Su family had control over large-scale destructive weapons, something these smaller forces, equipped only with guns, couldn't compare with. This kind of helicopter, originally used for medical services in Bing City, became the Su family's private property as chaos descended upon the world. Later on, various types of weapons, even including helicopters, saw a significant price increase, far beyond what families like his could afford. Quickly, move all these things out, and take the workers as well. Master Su naturally wouldn't leave this production line out there. He directly ordered his men to empty the entire factory. At the same time, he inquired about the details of the factory from Master Huang. After a while, he finally understood the situation. So, this gun production line was created by a student named Zhao Yu? That's right. Did you lose that student? This? Master Huang was sweating profusely and quickly explained, that student is not simple. Master Su didn't pursue the matter of the grand primogeniture and casually said, he's just a student. He can't turn the world upside down. Pass down my order and send someone to look for him. Take away everyone related to him for investigation. Soon, the entire factory was completely empty. Everyone was brought to the Su family's territory and relocated. The production line was reassembled and started running smoothly. A moment later, a model of a gun was brought to him. Can it be used? Yes, according to the research of the scholars, this gun should be usable. What do you mean by should? You didn't test it? No bullets, the butler said awkwardly. If you don't have any bullets, you can use them? Master Su quickly realized that his butler was not that useless. What do you mean? He asked. The bullets used in this gun are different from the ones on the market. It's like this. We've used all kinds of bullets, but none of them match this barrel, the butler said helplessly. Master Su stroked his beard and asked, bullets shouldn't be difficult to produce, right? If we build it ourselves. Master, the experts and scholars have said that compared to guns, bullets are the hardest to make. The gun he designed seems to be different from the guns circulating in the market. It possesses an unknown mechanism. Only specially made bullets can unleash the power it deserves. Otherwise, perhaps what? Maybe it's just a toy gun with limited power. Have you found that student? Not yet. What about his family? He is an orphan. Master Su frowned deeply and asked, "Doesn't he have any connections?"
Yes.
The butler explained, "This Xiao Yu has a nickname in school. He's the Romeo in Bing City University. He once jumped across a lake for a female student and almost drowned. It is said that the bet with the Huang family was also made because of that girl." Master Su nodded slightly and asked, "Did you find that girl?" "I've already sent someone over." "Yes, bring everyone related to that girl here. We must find Zhao Yu's whereabouts." On this day, Lu Siyu was in class when there was a sudden commotion outside the door. Not long after, the dean and the counselor led a group of fully armed soldiers in. The whole class was shocked, and even the substitute teacher hid in a corner. "She's Lu Siyu." The counselor quickly pointed at a girl in the crowd and said. Armed personnel immediately surrounded her. This scared everyone in the class, causing them to scatter to the back of the room. Lu Siyu was also frightened. "What are you doing? I haven't committed any crime." The man in the lead took out an ID and said, "I'm from the Bing City Security Affairs Center. Lu Siyu, you need to come with us." Under the watchful eyes of her classmates, Lu Siyu was quickly taken away. The people came quickly and left quickly. After they left, the entire class began to discuss. "Do you guys know what happened? Why was Lu Siyu taken away like that?" "I don't know. Could it have something to do with Zhao Yu?" "How could that be? How did Zhao Yu cause such a fuss?" As people were discussing, the armed personnel returned. They took away several other female students who had had interactions with Zhao Yu. Xiao Bingbing's along with another 2 roommates being taken away was understandable, but it was very confusing when Song Han was taken away. "I'm not close with Lu Siyu," she explained while walking. The leader of the armed personnel asked, "Has Zhao Yu contacted you recently?" Had Zhao Yu really done something to attract the attention of the Bing City Security Affairs Center? She quickly denied, "No, Zhao Yu and one are just ordinary classmates. Take her." No matter what she said, the armed personnel paid no attention and took her and several others away in a vehicle. Inside the armored vehicle, the girls looked at each other, never expecting to be gathered together like this. Any previous conflicts between them evaporated in an instant. "Lu Siyu, what did you tell them?" Xiaolan anxiously asked. Song Han directly addressed the point. "Lu Siyu, what did Zhao Yu do?" After being questioned by others, Lu Siyu had mostly figured out that these people were looking for Zhao Yu. They just couldn't find him, so they came for them. Tears in her eyes, she said, "I don't know. All one know is Zhao Yu owns a factory." After some discussion that led nowhere, they could only continue to send messages to Zhao Yu, hoping for a response. Unfortunately, all messages seemed to have fallen into the ocean. Not a single reply came. After a while, their phones started ringing almost simultaneously. Lu Siyu checked her phone and began crying, "They've arrested everyone from my family." Xiao Bingbing was also anxious after checking her phone. "Lu Siyu, thanks to you, people from my family have also been taken. What does this have to do with me?" "It's something Zhao Yu did." Lu Siyu slapped the protective net and started shouting. Soon, a handgun was aimed at her, scaring her into silence. She quietly sat back down. No one else dared to speak. They could only hope that they would just be questioned. Lu Siyu was visibly distressed and kept mumbling, "Zhao Yu, where are you? You better show up soon." Several female students with some connection to Zhao Yu, along with their families, were all brought to the Su residence. "Where is Zhao Yu?" The butler of the Su family asked calmly. He was skilled at interrogating people. "We really have no idea." Lu Siyu broke down in tears. She had never thought that Zhao Yu could get himself into such big trouble, and even affecting her own family. She kept explaining, trying to convince them that she really didn't know where Zhao Yu was. "If you message Zhao Yu and there is no response within an hour, each of your families will lose one person." The butler ignored her pleas and coldly looked at the girls present. "It's so unfair. We're just classmates with Zhao Yu." Xiaolan was the most distraught. She was just Lu Siyu's roommate. How did she get involved in all this? If they were really Zhao Yu's girlfriends, being threatened like this would make sense. But their relationship with Zhao Yu wasn't at that level. Unfortunately, no matter what they said, the butler remained unmoved. He simply took out a clock and placed in front of everyone. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The clock was ticking methodically. They finally understood that pleading was useless. Their only way out was to get a response from Zhao Yu. For a moment, everyone picked up their phones and frantically began messaging Zhao Yu. Bing City. Zhao Yu was at his secret location, looking at the messages sent by Lu Siyu and others. He understood that the Huang family had not dared to keep the factory a secret and had involved the Su family, which was exactly what he wanted. Zhao Yu has his first goal achieved. Zhao Yu had carefully thought this through. If he hid the gun factory and worked secretly, if he worked alone, it will be time-consuming, and he would also not be able to sell on a large scale. He needed time the most right now. He had not forgotten that his initial purpose for using the clone system was to seek more opportunities and possibilities. The Milky Way Empire was too powerful. Even the system he had always relied on was now limited by the one galactic heart fragment. Zhao Yu thought about having multiple preparations. Besides setting up resistance forces on the edge of the galaxy with Colonel Chu, he should also maximize the use of his clones. This was to prepare for the possibility of his death and to control as many civilizations as possible through his clones for future use. Therefore, completing the original owner's unfulfilled wish as quickly as possible and moving on to the next clone journey was the most important thing at the moment. Zhao Yu had made such a complex plan, partly to establish a foundation and accelerate the rise of his power, but on the other hand, it was specifically prepared for Lu Siyu. He wanted to seize the opportunity to win over Lu Siyu and complete the original owner's unfulfilled wish. This would enable him to resonate with his consciousness on Earth. At that time, with the help of Uncle Da's computing power, it would become much easier for him to expand further on Neptune. After checking the time, Zhao Yu felt it was about right. He slowly picked up his phone and dialed Lu Siyu's number. It is a call from Zhao Yu. He is calling me. Lu Siyu, overcome with emotion, lifted her cell phone and announced loudly. Butler Su perked up, instructed Lu Siyu, turn on the speaker, everyone stays quiet. Following his instructions, Lu Siyu pressed the answer button. Zhao Yu, where are you? Come quickly. As soon as the call connected, Lu Siyu yelled out, as if trying to release all the fear she had felt. Zhao Yu briefly comforted her and then asked, are you at the Su's residence now? Are there any members of the Su family around? Lu Siyu instinctively looked towards the butler Su. He was not expecting Zhao Yu to look for him. He took the phone from Lu Siyu. This is Butler Su. I can speak on behalf of the Su family. With a gesture, he instructed everyone else to leave. Lu Siyu and the others breathed a sigh of relief, hoping Zhao Yu would quickly come to terms with the Su family. On the other side, Zhao Yu through Xiao Lu's surveillance, noticed the situation where Lu Siyu was moved. Where have you taken her? Mr. Su recalled Zhao Yu's background. With his concern for Lu Siyu, he felt pleased. He commanded, Lu Siyu, stay here. Through the monitor, Zhao Yu saw Lu Siyu was returning to the phone and continued, tell me, why have you been so eagerly looking for me? What do you want? Zhao Yu, want to ask you some questions, okay? Speak. Zhao Yu replied calmly, already guessing the topic. Did you personally construct the handgun production line in the factory? Although he had confirmed this with other workers, he still wanted to hear Zhao Yu admit it himself. Lu Siyu was shocked to hear the truth. Handgun production line? Zhao Yu's factory produces weapon? Could a simple factory manufacture such weapons? This was a serious crime. Yes, it was all my works. Zhao Yu admitted directly. Did you get the blueprints from somewhere, or did you research them yourself? Butler Su asked Zhao Yu. Do you think it's possible to obtain a blueprint of a design that has never been on the market? Zhao Yu laughed and answered him. Given enough time, can you set up a production line for automatic rifles? Heh, Zhao Yu smirked. My original design was aiming for automatic rifles. But due to limitations in materials and technology, I settled for handguns first. This answer satisfied Butler Su, so he proposed, on behalf of the Su family, I'd like to invite you to be our chief researcher. That is so tempting, and the offer from Family Su must be great. But one refuse. Zhao Yu cut him off. Do you understand the consequences of refusing the Su family? Butler Su warned Zhao Yu, at the same time glancing at Lu Siyu. The woman you love, Lu Siyu, is here. If you decline, she won't see the sunrise tomorrow. As expected, there was silence from the other end. Butler Su didn't press further, but gave Zhao Yu time to think. Lu Siyu was restless, knowing her life and her family's fate rested in Zhao Yu's hands. I'm an orphan. With my capabilities, I can leave Bing City and be successful anywhere. His tone shifted, and with a bitter smile, he continued. I didn't leave Bing City, and the reason I'm still willing to talk is indeed because of Lu Siyu. Lu Siyu was quite shocked. Although she didn't understand the significance of the firearm issue, she could tell that Su families viewed Zhao Yu as an important figure. Being the chief researcher for the Su family is indeed a good offer, but it's not to my goal. Butler Su realized that Zhao Yu wanted to negotiate terms with the Su family. This made him slightly relieved. His only concern was if they couldn't reach an agreement and Zhao Yu escaped. By then, whether to kill Lu Siyu would not matter. Su family would never miss this golden opportunity and might cultivate a ruthless and powerful enemy. According to experts' analysis of Zhao Yu's personality, once he gives up his love for a woman, he can become a ruthless powerhouse. Unfortunately, women seem to be his weak spot. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have this phone conversation. The butler Su felt a bit pleased. At least Zhao Yu had a vulnerability. He grinned and said, "Tell me your terms, Zhao Yu." "I have a dream that one day," Zhao Yu declared with some drama. Whenever one hears others mention the Su or Huang families with reverence, I feel envious. I want to establish the Zhao family, which will someday be looked up to and revered by everyone. Quite ambitious. The butler Su began to contemplate. All right, we can allocate a territory in Bing City for you, invest in building your factory, and help you set up the Zhao family. Following that, Zhao Yu discussed the specifics of establishing the factory and consolidating power with Butler Su. Both sides made concessions. The Su family would fund the initial investments, including the construction of the factory and estate. They would also provide protection for Zhao Yu's assets. All weapon-related products would have to be handled by the Su family. Given that these weapons can't be openly sold and that Zhao Yu's channels would not be as efficient as the Su family's, he readily agreed. The Su family offered to buy at 80% of the market rate. Furthermore, Zhao Yu also promised to develop a production line for rifles within a month. As their discussion progressed, Lu Siyu felt more relieved, even somewhat hopeful. If Zhao Yu could indeed establish such a trade, wouldn't she be on her way to becoming a wealthy wife? More importantly, from their conversation, she learned about some exemptions granted to Bing City by the Lord of Tianhai. Some of these exemptions were given to Zhao Yu by the Su family. With these exemptions, as long as Zhao Yu remained stable, her family would live comfortably. At this moment, she felt that perhaps being with Zhao Yu might not be a bad thing after all. Lu Siyu envisioned her future life, and a smile unconsciously crept on her face. However, a requirement from the butler Su brought her crashing down from her dreams. All these terms are acceptable. The Su family promises to invest no less than 1 billion in you, Zhao Yu, in the short term. But there's one more condition you need to agree to. What is the condition? Zhao Yu curiously asked. The butler Su glanced at Lu Siyu and slowly said, "You have to marry the Su family's legitimate daughter, Su Xiaoxiao." "No way. Zhao Yu can only marry me." Lu Siyu protested immediately. "Are you worthy?" Lu Siyu's face turned pale, realized the status of Su Xiaoxiao. She felt humiliated, but she had no way to counter. Compared to Su Xiaoxiao, whether in terms of family background, appearance, or age, she has no advantage in all these aspects. The only thing she had was that she was the one Zhao Yu liked. She felt apart from being liked by Zhao Yu. She had no other advantages. With her silent, the butler Su turned to the phone. "Zhao Yu, what do you say?" From the other end, Zhao Yu was also surprised that the Su family proposed he marrying Su Xiaoxiao to him. He had met Su Xiaoxiao before. She looked very gorgeous, but she was very young, like a middle school student. Although he was physically only around 18 or 19, his soul and mental was about 30. Marrying such a young girl made him feel embarrassed. After a moment of hesitation, he replied, "This condition doesn't seem suitable. Su Xiaoxiao is a good girl. Marrying her off at such a young age is not in her best interests. Moreover, haven't we already reached an agreement? You invest, and one provide the technology and products. What puzzled Zhao Yu more was that he was currently negotiating with just a butler from the Su family. How could this butler have the authority to discuss the marriage of the Su family's daughter? Zhao Yu has control over the surveillance, certain that there was no one else beside Butler Su at the moment. Also, there were no earpieces in Butler Su's ears to communicate with anyone else. This indicates that from beginning to end, Butler Su was speaking on behalf of the Su family to Zhao Yu. An alliance through marriage, although traditional, is effective. If you want to establish the Zhao family without aligning with a prestigious family, do you think other powers will let you rise so easily? Zhao Yu hesitated and then asked, "You mentioned earlier that you are a butler of the Su family. Can you really decide the marriage of Su family's daughter? Do you have that authority?" The butler laughed, a mix of pride and melancholy in his smile. "I share a deep bond with the head of the Su family. Half of the Su family's current status is thanks to me. If it wasn't for my innate illness, the city would be governed by two families." Really? Zhao Yu recorded the conversation. Despite the butler's contributions, a servant is still a servant. On the surface, the Su family might not say anything about Butler Su's actions. However, behind the scenes, many might harbor displeasure towards him. Furthermore, he seemed to foresee that when the Master Su passes away, it might very well be the day Butler Su meets his end. The butler seemed to have the power to decide on marrying off the Su family's daughter. Let's discuss a different condition. I've said before, in this lifetime, I only love Lu Siyu. Only she can be my wife. Lu Siyu, who was already feeling down, looked in disbelief at the phone in the butler's hand. Zhao Yu. He refused the offer of becoming a son-in-law to the Su family for her. This was an opportunity of a lifetime. If the opportunity was offering to her, she would never even think about it and agree to any term and conditions. Soon, Butler Su showed a hint of displeasure. "Zhao Yu, if you don't agree to this condition, our previous agreements are null and void. You may leave, but Lu Siyu, as well as her family and friends, will be dead. Zhao Yu, don't do this for me. Just agree to his terms." Although she was deeply grateful that Zhao Yu still loved her in this situation, she didn't want to die, let alone to her family. Is an alliance through marriage with the Su family really that important? Every family has its own means of survival. Marrying into the Su family is an essential part of that, without any exceptions.
Butler Su Plan.
Zhao Yu, you should feel fortunate. Our Su family rarely marries off our mainline daughters for alliances. Most of the time, it's the side branches. You should feel honored. Zhao Yu understood that according to the Su family's attitude, without this marriage alliance, there would be no future relationship. All these words are pointless. I only love Lu Siyu. However, he didn't hastily agree. Zhao Yu, are you out of your mind? If you don't agree, I'll die. How are you going to love me? In the afterlife?
Lu Siyu shouted.
Butler Su realized the worst outcome and hesitated. Marriage doesn't necessarily have to be about love. On behalf of the Su family, I can permit you to be with other women, but your primary wife must be Su Xiao. Both Lu Siyu and Zhao Yu were amazed at this unexpected condition. Lu Siyu, elated, quickly urged, "Zhao Yu, what are you waiting for? Just agree to him." Zhao Yu calmly replied, "Siyu, if I do this, won't I be betraying you?" "By agreeing, you truly show your love for me," she responded. Lu Siyu noticed her family members within her line of sight, still under the threat of the armed men, as Butler Su made a simple gesture. "But I wanted to give you a proper status," Zhao Yu lamented. "I don't care about status, as long as I can be with you. I'm willing to accept any condition." Lu Siyu was almost in tears. She never imagined she would one day urge Zhao Yu to marry another woman and comfort him by saying, "You must marry her, and I'll be content with a lesser status." Once you establish the Zhao family, all your women can live there. You can even bring their families to live in your estate. With your protection, they should live well. Although initially feeling coerced, Lu Siyu urgently pleaded, "Zhao Yu, please, just agree." Lu Siyu even promised Zhao Yu to an extent of engagement. "As long as you marry Su Xiao, I'm yours, and you can take care of me for the rest of my life." Zhao Yu initially thought with this event, he could make Lu Siyu fall in love with him. However, his mission was still not completed. Did he have to consummate his relationship with Lu Siyu in order to fulfill the original owner's last wish? With such thoughts, Zhao Yu reluctantly agreed. But he also expressed his concerns. Even you could really decide for Su Xiao? Would she agree? Heh. Butler Su chuckled lightly and said, the commands of parents are paramount. Zhao Yu, just marry and get us some children. Let's set the wedding on the 18th of next month. How does that sound? The 18th of next month was the day after he handed over the rifle production line. It seemed that the Su family didn't fully trust him. They wanted to ensure he could hand over the production line before marrying Su Xiao, thus deepening his ties with the Su family. Additionally, there's one more thing. Butler Su glanced at Lu Siyu and some other women in the distance. Zhao Yu, no matter how many women you have, the child of Su Xiao must be the eldest. Before that, none of them are allowed to get pregnant.
Achons.
Zhao Yu hadn't expected Butler Su to think so far ahead, even considering the birth of future children. He noticed that Butler Su referred to them, suggesting that Zhao Yu would have multiple women in the future. Before Zhao Yu even could respond, Lu Siyu voiced her opinion. Zhao Yu, just agree with him.
Infine.
As long as I'm with you, I'm satisfied. But this... Zhao Yu hesitated for a moment before reluctantly agreeing. Ha. Good. Zhao Yu, you may come out. One want to meet you. Butler Su laughed and asked him. Not so fast, Zhao Yu replied with a smile. Meeting now would seem as though I'm trying to favor with the Su family. Let's get the Zhao estate set up first, then my assets. After that, 1 foot 11 inches represent the Zhao family and meet with the Su family. How does that sound? He hadn't expected Zhao Yu to be so brazen. But since Zhao Yu was a valuable asset, the Su family was willing to accommodate his requests. So, he directly agreed. After settling everything, Zhao Yu finally said to Lu Siyu through phone, Siyu, wait for me. I'll finish up things here and come to see you soon. Okay, Zhao Yu, take care. I'll be waiting, Lu Siyu said, her voice tinged with worry. She feared that Zhao Yu might disappear, not only shattering her dreams but also risking her life. Wait for me. Zhao Yu hanged up the phone. Boss, did everything go smoothly? Hua Dahai, who had been waiting in the distance, quickly approached Zhao Yu as soon as he saw him hang up. Zhao Yu laughed and briefly explained the content of the negotiations. Hua Dahai was elated. Zhao Yu's negotiating skills was far exceeding his expectations. Hua Xiaoxi, standing nearby, became excited. Zhao Yu, does this mean we'll have a guarantee in the future? Hua Dahai interrupted with a displeased look. Show some respect. How dare you call the boss by his name? Hua Xiaoxi pouted, looking somewhat displeased. Zhao Yu laughed and said, the title boss is too crude and unsophisticated. Let's adapt to local customs. From now on, you can call me Family Master Da. The title Family Master might be a bit tacky, but it sounded better than being called boss. In this region, any family leader was generally referred to as Family Master. All right, Master.
Hua Dahai was overjoyed.
This indicated that he could be considered a trusted aide of Zhao Yu's and could potentially achieve great things under his leadership. Hua Xiaoxi mumbled aside, we were classmates and same age. You can be the exception. Call me whatever you like. Zhao Yu smiled slightly and said, that's more like it. I'll just call you Zhao Yu. Hua Xiaoxi replied cheerfully. Hua Dahai soon realized what was going on and didn't intervene. He thought that if Zhao Yu married his sister, she would have someone to look after her other than him in life, making it worth even dying for Zhao Yu. Master, what should I do next? Hua Dahai quickly got to the point. Wait, once the Su family has prepared my Zhao family's estate, we'll return. From the moment the negotiation ended, Zhao Yu felt relatively safe. But as he mentioned, there was still a slight risk that the Su family might confine him for research purposes. Only when they see his potential and value will they truly respect his demands. After all, no one ever said that a researcher couldn't just coast by, especially someone like Zhao Yu who feared nothing. In a corner of the Su family's estate, a group of old and young members sat obediently, glancing nervously at the armed guards. What do you think Zhao Yu did? I don't know, but one hope the Su family spares us. How did Lu Siyu get involved with someone like him? If it was just him causing trouble, that's fine. But he's dragged us all into it. Exactly. Once this blows over, You must counsel Lu Siyu. She shouldn't associate with Zhao Yu. The Lu family members had roughly pieced together the relationship between Zhao Yu and Lu Siyu through Chao Bingbing and others. Many cursed Zhao Yu for the predicament they found themselves in. Sigh. Overthinking it is pointless. Being alive is better than anything else. Besides, Siyu is doing it all for the sake of the two elderly people at home, Lu's mother sighed. Do you think it's about the 10 million? In my opinion, Zhao Yu might have schemed against the Su family's heiress, Su Xiao. That could be why this is happening. Among the Lu family, there were more than 10 members. The other families were of similar size, but only Song Han's mother was present, hinting at a lack of relatives. Song Han, are you sure this has nothing to do with you? Song's mother seemed aged, with wrinkles and calloused hands, evidently a hard-working woman. Mom, don't worry. It really has nothing to do with us. Song Han reassured, though uncertain herself. She might not know exactly what Zhao Yu had done, but she was well aware of who truly ruled over the Bing city. She could only speculate that Zhao Yu had done something to Su Xiao. Zhao Yu did something terrible to her? Fear surged within Song Han. If this were true, they could all face the Su family's wrath. Before, the Su family might have been restrained due to public opinion. Now, even if they were killed, no one would dare speak out. The world seemed entirely chaotic. As everyone was deeply worried, Lu Siyu returned with a hint of joy, immediately surrounded by everyone. Lu Siyu, has Zhao Yu been found? He has been found. Lu's mother hurriedly asked, So, are we safe now? Can they let us go? Lu Siyu glanced at her mother, then around at the people who were looking in their direction, and replied with a smirk, Mom, they can leave, but we don't need to. What? Why can't we leave? We have nothing to do with Zhao Yu, Lu's mother exclaimed. Hearing this, the others sighed with relief. It's over. We can leave now. Lu Siyu answered with a hint of pride. Who said we have nothing to do with Zhao Yu? You silly girl, what are you talking about? Lu's mother became anxious, covering her mouth. We really have nothing to do with Zhao Yu. Lu Siyu understood that their minds were still stuck on the moment they were captured. She gently pulled her mother's hand away and explained, Mom, what do you think they wanted Zhao Yu for? I don't care. I just want to go home. A man stepped forward scolded. Siyu, I'm not trying to blame you, but at a time like this, why are you drawing attention to yourself? Hurry up and clarify with the Su family that we have nothing to do with Zhao Yu. Others' family was thankful it wasn't their families involved. Uncle, you've all misunderstood. The Su family didn't seek Zhao Yu because he committed a crime. Lu Siyu laughed and explained. What did you say? Everyone was looking confused. Lu Siyu said proudly, Zhao Yu possesses a very advanced technology. The Su family approached him for collaboration. Collaboration? Was collaboration a reason to have them all captured? What kind of technology? Her uncle asked with confusion. Confidential. Lu Siyu had been warned by the butler of the Su family not to speak carelessly. She replied with a mysterious smile. It's a high-end technology that can yield tens of billions in profits. What? Everyone was astonished, staring at Lu Siyu in disbelief. With their reaction, Lu Siyu felt proud on behalf of Zhao Yu. She held her head high, addressing the crowd proudly. It is their family time to shine now. Just now, the Su family and Zhao Yu reached an agreement. The Su family is investing 10 billion in Zhao Yu's venture and has also provided him with a mansion, along with various assistants. 10 billion. The entire room went silent, with everyone fixated on the massive amount. A representative from the Su family approached. On behalf of the Su family, I would like to apologize to everyone. The other family heads present stepped forward, insisting that they bore no grudges and that assisting the Su family was their duty. Given the reality of the world, they didn't dare accept the Su family's apology. Instead, they were thankful for being treated respectfully due to Zhao Yu's influence. The representative from the Su family continued, Everyone here is connected to Zhao Yu. Please proceed to the Zhao estate. Zhao Yu has a mansion? Everyone was shocked. Could it be that what Lu Siyu said about Zhao Yu's collaboration with the Su family was true? Lu Siyu was also surprised and quickly asked, Hasn't the Zhao mansion not been built yet? We have a piece of land right next to the Su family. After it was constructed, It was intended for the grown-up members of the family to use independently. After discussions with Master Zhao, he can use it directly now. Such a good deal. The crowd exchanged glances, unable to imagine what technology Zhao Yu mastered to earn such treatment from the Su family. Under the butler's leadership, everyone walked towards Zhao's estate. This time, everyone felt much more relaxed and even took the time to admire the scenery of the Su mansion. My goodness, look at that flower. It's so beautiful. They have dedicated personnel for maintenance. Do you see that young lady over there? She seems so sophisticated. Could she be a dignitary of the Su family? No, she's just a gardener. Wow, even the gardeners in the Su family are treated so well. The group felt like they had entered a grand garden, marveling at everything they saw. The butler led the way, showing them around. After almost half an hour, they arrived at Zhao Mansion. As the butler had mentioned, it was very close to the Su mansion. Although smaller in comparison, it was still massive. All this for Zhao Yu? Lu's mother asked in astonishment. Of course, it's all Master Zhao's. Lu Siyu proudly said, this is just his residence. He has several other properties waiting to be handed over to him. Lu Siyu's second uncle was full of praise. Lu Siyu reminded him of his previous wish to distance from Zhao Yu. He laughed it off, saying he hadn't known Zhao Yu's capabilities. Hee, one just wasn't aware of the situation and didn't know about our son-in-law's capabilities. Many of the people present had never seen Zhao Yu before. However, at this moment, they all began to flatter him obsequiously. The Lu family members walked with pride and high spirits, but the members of the other few families seemed somewhat subdued. Bing Bing, do you want to clarify to our cousin that you and that Zhao Yu don't have any sort of relationship? Xiao Bingbing felt helpless. In a short span of time, numerous relatives had approached her with questions, making her feel overwhelmed. I indeed wanted to have a relationship with Zhao Yu, and even confessed my feelings to him, but he wasn't interested. Upon hearing this, someone from the Qiao family immediately jumped in. Hasn't Zhao Yu not married yet? Bing Bing, there's still a chance. You must seize it. Shush, don't let them hear. Someone hurriedly motioned for everyone to lower their voices, pointing at the Lu family members who were up ahead. Xiao Bingbing was exasperated. She never imagined her family could be so mercenary. Xiaolan's relatives incessantly questioned her too. Xiaolan was on the verge of a breakdown. She genuinely had no relation with Zhao Yu. However, for Song Han and Zhou Miao, with fewer relatives around, nobody inquired about their relationship with Zhao Yu. Compared to the other three families, Zhou Miao's relatives, at a glance, looked like simple farmers. They all wore plain clothes and walked behind Song Han and her daughter. They didn't dare harbor any undue thoughts and just wished to leave as soon as possible. Being in such a lavish place made them feel out of place and uncomfortable. Song Han's mother seemed to be on the verge of speaking. Mom, is there something you want to say? Mother Song hesitated for a moment and said, the family where one work as a nanny, their child is already in college. The lady of the house has been hinting several times that they might not want to employ me any longer. Song Han was recalling memories from her childhood. When she graduated from middle school, she was accepted into the best high school in the city based on her excellent grades. That time, her mother had promised that after cleaning the employer's house, she would treat her to fried foods. With joy, she accompanied her mother. She was proud and wishing everyone knew she was admitted to a prestigious high school. However, during the visit to her employer's house, her dreams were shattered. Son, I donated a football field to your school. Now that you're in this famous high school, make sure to study hard and don't rank last anymore. Dad, one promise you. I'll study hard. Can I get a reward this vacation? All right, let's set off tomorrow for an overseas trip. That was the day. She realized that the gap between individuals was inherent. Her hard-earned achievements could easily be overshadowed by someone's simple act of donating a football field. While she had to assist her mother in cleaning to earn a fried snack, they could afford international vacations. That very moment, Song Han resolved to strive and become wealthy in her lifetime. Throughout the 3 years of high school, she studied her subjects and also learned ways to earn money. Yet, after the college entrance examination, she realized striving for wealth was an illusion. If hard work guaranteed wealth, then sanitation workers or construction laborers would be the wealthiest. The world seemed like a well-designed game. The top 1%, enjoying the experiences at the expense of the rest 99%. If everyone were at the top, the game would lose its allure. At that moment, she gave up. She understood that no matter how hard she tried, even if she spent her entire youth or decades trying to catch up, she'd only be at the starting line of the lower-tier wealthy family. By then, in her 40s or 50s, would brand bags, makeup, dolls, or her own pink room still matter? Why could others live like princesses in mansions at 20, while she had to help her mother clean and wash dishes in someone else's house? She harbored resentment, felt hatred, but eventually, she accepted her fate. This is her fate. Struggling for 30 years to achieve what she desired at 20 wasn't worth it. She sought shortcuts. Her only shortcut was her beauty, potentially letting her earn from men. However, she knew chastity was crucial for women in this society. A single decision could save her a decade of toil. Sadly, most saw her as worthless, and she hadn't met anyone willing to spend a significant amount for her. No, there was one. Song Han recalled Zhao Yu's words, asking her to wait until he had some spare money, and then he'd purchase a year with her. Her eyes began to sparkle as she gazed at the exquisite gardens in the estate. It felt as if her dreams were about to come true. Zhao Yu, I hope you haven't forgotten me.